too. But look who's here with us now. We've got Brian Crandall. He's covered a few storms here and there for Channel 10. Good morning, Brian. Where are you?
I would say I'm somewhat marooned in that I was trying to get to work. I come down 295 from the Cumberland area. I am on the overpass off 295 at the landfill because I followed a plow path that was down 295 but it went up the ramp for the landfill, and 295 wasn't cleared. So I'm like, I got to get off here. And that was my fear as I was driving here. I could see the ramps weren't plowed, and I actually got stuck getting on the ramp to 295 and again trying to get onto 295 from the ramp in Cumberland. I had to dig myself out. You said I've been doing this 25 years. I've never seen it this bad, and I'm questioning my life choices right now. The good news is, I'm on the overpass near the landfill, and actually here comes a plow right now. They've plowed right here, so I'm not stuck in snow, but I could just be making loops on 295. I think I would just have to stay on the highway for a very long time. And even on the highway, there were cars off the side of the road because there was, I would say from like 146 south to where I am here in Johnston, it was basically down to pavement like this. But then again, the problem is it's one lane, and if you get a little bit off to the side, you're in a foot of snow and you're stuck. And I felt bad because I was passing people, and there's really nothing that I felt like I could do because you're just going to get stuck and you're in the middle of the highway, which is not a safe place to be. As I said, I feel like I'm somewhat marooned because I feel like I could just keep doing loops on 295, and that's about it at this point. But in the about 20 minutes I've been here, I've already had 2 state troopers come by and make sure I was all right. I think again one was questioning my sanity. So I would not advise going out on the road. Again, I've never seen it like this in 25 years. I've never had to dig myself out, and I had to do it twice, again because of the getting on the ramp to try to get onto 295, and then again to get back onto the highway because the snow is just piled up. I mean, it's feet deep, and that's kind of what's happening here. I mean, you can see where the plow just came by, but there's like piles and piles of snow. I saw tractor trailers off the side of the road. I saw sedans. I saw SUVs. So in a lot of ways, I feel fortunate that I made it as far as I did on 295. I would not advise it to anyone at this point. It's just not worth it. And again, in the time I was on 295, I didn't actually see any plows, except that one lane for a good 10 to 15 miles was down almost to the pavement. Allison and Mario, again, I mean, the conditions are brutal, and I had to stop almost to a dead stop on the highway, even though the road was most cleared because there was no visibility, and I wanted to make sure I didn't go off the highway. Like, I was concerned that I was going to go off the side of the highway.
And then if you get stuck, you're worried you're going to get hit because nobody can see you.
Right.
You can hear from Brian's voice how
right.
excited
The good news,
he is.
yeah,
Yes.
I could see cars off. I could see, cars off to the side of the road that were stuck. And again, I don't know how long they're going to be there. It's just, I saw one tow truck trying to move one car, but it's like, I just don't know how fast they're going to be able to get there. So again, it is just not worth it to go outside. Again, I've never seen the road conditions like this, and I've driven to work in snowstorms and by blizzard. I've worked in blizzards. I'm trying to remember at what point I drove in or not. But yeah, it's just not a good place to be.
Right. Brian, stay safe out there.
Brian, we'll get back to you in just a bit. This is what everybody is saying. All of us who've been in this business for more than 20 years, we're like, we've never seen it like this before.
Brian Crandall, you also got stuck somewhere.
Hey, Brian, how you doing? Are you still stuck?
After Brian?
I would say I'm still in purgatory because I don't know where I'm going. I have been on an overpass. I have been on an overpass on 295 near the landfill for about, I don't know, it was a little before 11 o'clock. I'm losing track of time. So I come to work down 295. I get on in Cumberland. So the side roads, Diamond Hill Road was okay. And then, of course, I got stuck, as you guys were talking about, on the ramp. I got stuck on the ramp to 295. I had a shovel with me because I was figuring I'd have to shovel out after work, not that I would have to shovel out during work. So I shoveled myself out. And then, of course, at the bottom of the ramp, I got stuck again because there was a big pile of snow to get onto the main lanes of the highway. So I shoveled myself out again, got onto the highway, and as you said, we've been doing this all a long time. This is the scariest driving I ever been in, and I want to show you now where I am looking out on the overpass. That's 295 below me. I cannot see tire tracks right now or anything, and so I got off here because apparently earlier, and well, there goes somebody in a truck pretty quick. I got off here because I could see that the plow had gone up the ramp at the landfill exit, and I figured that was my best way to not get stuck. So I went up the clear path on the landfill exit, and then this road there has been plowed. Plows have been coming by, and a couple of people have checked on me to make sure I'm all right. So my car isn't stuck, but I'm not sure where I can go from here. Although somebody at the landfill offered that I could go down there if I needed to use a bathroom or something like that. That time may be coming.
They're going to put you to work.
It's just honestly the scariest driving I've ever done, and part of it is for a good portion of 295 South from 146 to where I am now. Again, I think a plow must have gone through not long before me, so it was almost bare pavement for and it was about a lane to a lane and a half in width. But the problem was, if you veered off and the visibility was so poor, you'd be in over a foot of snow and then you were stuck. And I saw cars, I saw tractor trailer trucks, and it again, just scared. So I stopped. I had to stop like twice just because the wind was blowing the snow. I couldn't see. And I was like, if I go 6 inches to the left or 6 inches to the right, I'm not sure where I'm going to be. So luckily I made it. And so again, I'm on the overpass. I'll walk over here and look at, again, this is 295. I'm pointing north right now, and you can hear the wind because now I'm facing into the wind. I can't see, usually we're used to seeing some kind of like plow tracks or, the two tire lanes, and I can't. And as I said, luckily right now my car isn't stuck. I'm just not sure where I'm gonna go or how long. I could probably get back onto the highway, maybe, but then just I guess keep doing loops or something like that.
Well,
but
I think
it is wild, and the wind is still howling.
It almost looks like
It
almost looks like the town roads, not the side roads in town, but the major town roads, look a little bit better than the interstates. And the problem you will have, and that's what we had this morning, once you get on the highway, you can't get off on the exit ramps because they haven't been plowed yet. They just keep drifting over. So we ended up starting out at the airport connector and going all the way up to Providence before we could get off and then come back on 95 South. So does it seem like the town roads are plowed a little bit better than the interstates?
Frankly, Patrice, this is my experience because I am not willing to risk going any further. Again, I've just been on this overpass. Again, I was on Diamond Hill Road, but this is about 9 o'clock in the morning, and that was, I'll use the term okay, relatively speaking. And I'll flip back here to 295. There goes somebody, pickup truck with a plow, and they're moving. They're moving pretty good. I would not drive that faster. And again, so I could probably get back on 295 now, but my question is then where do I go?
Right.
Because as you said, it seems that the ramps are a problem.
Right.
And I got stuck twice on one ramp, and I don't feel like being stuck for an hour again. And I think, that was your experience too. So I could have stayed on 295 longer this morning. Although, as I said, when I got off at the ramp here at the landfill, the ramp was cleared. And when I looked slightly to my left at 295, it looked like there was a good, 6 to 8 inches, maybe even a foot of snow on the highway. So I'm like, I'm going to go over here where it's been plowed.
Right.
And I'm just not sure. I haven't really ventured too far because, you don't want to get stuck.
Right.
Yeah, Brian, if you can hear us, we know there's a little bit of a delay. You raised 2 points. Not all plows are city and state plows. They might be independent contractors. So we saw 2 of them, and one of them said, hey, we can't go above our jurisdiction to try to plow you into the station. And we saw 2 plows that were stuck. So not all plows have their plows down. But with that said, what was the off ramp to where you are now? Is that better?
I haven't looked over there where I came on. I can see the ramp if I go this way. Ooh, I'm turning into the wind. So again, this is the overpass over 295 where the landfill is. And again, I've really never been more grateful to be near the landfill, frankly, than to come off here but this is like over here is the ramp coming up here in the other direction. And again, it doesn't look, well, the ramp itself might not be terrible, but then at the top there's this big pile of snow.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'll kind of come over here and,
That's
I'm
what
gonna
we were facing
put my foot in it, and it's up to my thighs. And then this right here, and again, I'm using my phone to do this. I don't have a kid, so pardon the view. But, again, this is what you get. This gets stuck under your car. And, fortunately, I have an SUV, but that's the problem, is that you've got 1.5 feet of snow that's going to get stuck under your car, and then you got to shovel it out. Fortunately, I brought a shovel with me. Again, as I said, not thinking that that's what I would use it for, because, again, this is the worst I've ever seen.
Well, we definitely had whiteout conditions when we were driving, and it looks like it's starting to tame down just a little bit out there. Not quite as bad, but the wind is whipping, isn't it?
Oh yeah, and I would say where I am, it is not getting any better.
No.
It's when you're kind of like in kind of a quiet place as I am now, it doesn't. I have good visibility, but I can tell if I got down on the highway again, because this is where I have to go to head to work. And again, I'm like trying to it's like, trying to get up to the railing there. You just can't see. I mean,
Okay.
I can see maybe a quarter mile down 295
Right.
from where I am.
All right, Brian Crandall, we're going to check.
But when you're in it, it's even worse.
Brian Crandall is the king of the overpass.
Poor Brian.
He is now in his car, but Brian faced the problems that we all face, is that you can drive on some of the main roads. It is not good, but it's tough to get off the off-ramp. So, Brian, are you still on the overpass in Johnston?
Oh, I haven't moved in 4 hours.
Oh, Brian.
Because I just don't know. So the landfill is down the street. The landfill is down the street, and the good folks at the landfill have offered me. They said they have coffee and muffins if I make it there. I took a little. I'm not sure. I want to chance it.
Landfill coffee
here,
and
I'll
muffins?
step outside because this. And I know you guys are talking about it. You know what? As I said, I would go there in a heartbeat. I thought I heard people say that it might get better. I have not seen much of a difference here. The wind is howling. As I said, I am over 95. Sorry for the close-up there. I'm using my phone, so not the best photographer. But that is 295 that you're looking at, and I can see maybe a little bit of a track on part of it. Here's a pickup truck that's coming by because the overpass that I am on, the Rhode Island DOT plows have come over a few times since I've been here. So my car is not stuck. I'm just not sure where I can go from here because the ramps, again, are a mess. And if you're just joining, as I said, I was coming down 295 to work, and again, questioning life choices at that moment. It was okay on Diamond Hill Road, and then when I went to get on 295, of course I got stuck on the ramp to get on 295, shoveled myself out, then went down the ramp and had to shovel myself out again. And so I got on the highway, and I got to a point right around 146 coming south on 295 where it had been plowed, and so it was pretty much close to down to bare pavement, but you couldn't see all that far in front of you, and you had to go super slow so you didn't veer off that plowed path and end up in a foot and a half of snow. And there were people who were in that predicament. And again, as you guys were saying, I felt bad. It's like I would love to stop and help, but I don't think that would help anybody at that point. I saw tractor trailers off the road, and this is kind of what you're looking at. This is the ramp coming from 295 north up to the landfill exit, and the cloud came by going to the to go up north, but then there's snow in the other way. So that's what the overpasses are looking like. And as I said, I was on 295 and wondering, how am I going to get off this highway? Because every exit that I passed, the snow was piled high, and I knew I was not going to get through it. And so when I was coming down 295, the plow had gone up the exit for the landfill, and so I figured that would be the route I would take, and the overpass was clear. I figured I'd stay there. Otherwise, I think I would be in a perpetual loop on the highway and not knowing where to get off. You can go up and maybe follow the plows, but that is why it is highly, I would say, highly ill-advisable, if that's a word, to go on the road. I mean, this is just nuts, and I've been saying it earlier today. In 25 years of covering storms, this is the worst I've seen. That you can, barely see the highway below, just white, and it is just brutal conditions. The wind is whipping, the snow is still, and again, I'm on this road. I mean, I guess I can see a little bit. Again, maybe a quarter of a mile, but I really don't want to get back on the road and tempt fate, as you said. As you guys were saying, you were stuck in a snowbank. When I was stuck, I've never been stuck in that situation on a public road before, and was wondering how that would end. And I'm wondering where this journey is going to end at this point.
Yeah, Brian, when you're questioning your life choices, you know there's a problem, because Brian's one of those people that just puts his head down and does it. So you've been on this overpass for quite a while now. Have you seen any other souls out there, or is it just you?
Oh, no. So earlier there was 2 state troopers came by not long, and one was, I think they were wondering what I was doing there. The second one was definitely, I think, questioning my sanity in terms of what I was doing and shaking his head at me. But I really felt like I didn't have another choice. If I'd stayed on the highway, actually, where the plow went up the ramp here, that was cleared. And when I looked to the left on 295, I was like, that looks a little, the snow was a little higher than I wanted to try to navigate. I have seen some pickup trucks on 295, and they were moving along. Again, I'm not sure I would be able to make it through that, so maybe I'm being, I would say, I'm not going to say I'm being overcautious, because I don't want to get stuck. And so that is kind of the predicament. I feel like I want to wait until some plows come and clear the ramps before I try to venture out any further.
Brian, while we have you, I'm sure that they're probably going to name that overpass after you at some point, since you've been on it for so long. But on a serious,
well, that'd be quite an honor.
Yeah, it would be, right? On a serious question, you said something earlier that Patrice and Emily and I relate to. When we were driving in, you don't want to go too far to the left, and you don't want to go too far to the right, because all of a sudden you're covered in snow, and that was kind of a battle for us, especially during some whiteout conditions. But you are facing what we faced. We were on the road, but we couldn't get to an off-ramp. So what we did is we had to drive to Providence, and we took the 3rd Reserve exit, thinking that's for ambulances, and then we looped around, and fortunately a tractor trailer went on the 37 on-ramp on 95 south, and we got on. So, you're a perfect example of exactly some of the challenges that our people are facing out there.
Well, and that's what I thought. As I was coming down 295, I felt like I'm never going to be able to get off. I would probably end up on 95, but then, where does that end? So, again, and maybe I would... Again, I don't want to think I was being overly cautious, having already been stuck twice. And as you said, you got stuck on 37 where I'd be coming too. And so, but, it is interesting, because I did just see a minute ago, and there goes a box truck, but a couple trucks did just go up 295 north here in the other direction, and they were moving at a pretty good clip. So I'm guessing they feel confident that they can get through the... get off on those ramps. As I said, you were talking about you don't want to veer off the road. I would still say it's whiteout conditions. I mean, I on the highway, I can't see that far in front of me. And when I was coming on 295 south, even though the road was, when I was driving, it was down to bare pavement, I stopped at one point because I could not see more than 5 feet in front of me, and I wasn't sure where I was. And if I went a couple inches to the right or to the couple inches to the left, I didn't know where I would end up. And it's just, again, I would say treacherous conditions, definitely not somewhere I want to be. So I'm quite content to be at my car and maybe make my way down to the landfill where the good folks there have offered me some refuge.
All right, Brian Crandall
lovely.
From what could be the Brian Crandall Memorial Overpass, and headed to get the good coffee and a muffin over at the landfill. I mean,
well, let's not make a memorial.
Why question life choices now, Brian? Sounds like everything's going swell. All right, we'll check back in with you, but in the meantime, be safe, my friend.
one of our dear, dear team members has not been able to stay inside or stay warm for the bulk of the day. He had a bear of a time trying to get to work. He ended up over an overpass in Johnston for most of the morning and afternoon. But I'm hearing now that he has safely made it to a landfill for snacks. Brian Crandall, how's it at the landfill?
And how are the snacks?
It's great. I haven't had the snacks yet. I feel bad, but I just want to show you where I am. I am at Rhode Island Resource Recovery now, the landfill, as most of us know, which is just down the street from where I was on that overpass, because that overpass has been cleared all day, and I get off of it. This is what we're looking at for conditions here, though. I was going to say the wind was dying down, but it is still windy. I would say a light snow coming down, but it's just so hard to tell with the wind. But yeah, if you've been keeping track, I was on the overpass at the landfill exit off 295 because I was making my way down. After I got stuck on the ramp to get on 295 from Diamond Hill on my way to work this morning, then got stuck again at the bottom, shoveled myself out both times, and then, bare knuckled it, white knuckled it, down 295 as other cars were off the road. Fortunately, there was like a plow path south of 146, and it led right to the landfill exit, and so I took that instead of staying on 295 because 295 had a fair amount of snow still on it. So I am now off my perch at the overpass because the very fine folks here at the landfill reached out at Resource Recovery and said, "Come on over. We got snacks. We got coffee. We got a restroom." And so they reached out, having seen where I was, and they actually then sent one of their massive pieces of equipment over. To make sure I had a clear path to get over here. So I've been here for a few minutes. I want to thank the fine folks, Bianca at Resource Recovery, and Joe, who came over and escorted me. He actually stopped by earlier in the morning and just to ask how I was doing to make sure I was okay. As I said, I wasn't stuck in the snow. And I'm still kind of curious as to where I should go next because of the highway ramps and the condition that they're in. So we'll see. But for now, as you said, they gave a full run of their kitchen. So basically, they're all out plowing, and I can enjoy some of their fine snacks while they do the work. But I don't. They have to leave for the day at some point, and I'll hit the road again, trying to figure out what exactly to do next. But they had some treats here, and they were awfully kind to offer me a little bit of refuge as they saw me kind of hanging out there.
Show us what's in the refrigerator. We want to know.
What's in the fridge? I haven't raided there. I don't want to go. You never know. I don't want to know what's in the fridge. But they got some brownies and some cookies and some muffins over here, and they offered me their coffee too. But
okay, Brian, thank you. When he said,
anyway, I found a place for a while. As I said, we're just trying to figure out where to go next.
Yeah, absolutely, Brian. We will check back in with you shortly. In our NBC 10 crews, they have been working round the clock to give us a view of what's going on across the region. Brian Crandall has been joining us all morning and afternoon long. He joins us once again from the cafeteria of a landfill in Johnston. Hi, Brian.
Yeah, hi, Emily and Dan. The fine folks at Rhode Island Resource Recovery, as we know it, the landfill offered a spot for me to come in because they saw that I was up on the overpass for a few hours just hanging out in my car. So I'm done raiding their kitchen here. But all jokes aside, I mean, the driving was treacherous, the worst I've ever seen in covering snowstorms for more than 25 years. I got stuck twice. Getting onto a highway ramp on a 295 and then again at the bottom, was able to shovel myself out. I want to show you, outside here, I had the cafeteria here to myself because the crews at the landfill are out clearing the landfill space. But just since the last time I spoke to y'all, maybe like 45 minutes ago, the wind has died down quite a bit. I mean, the snow is still falling. But again, as you mentioned, the question about the roads being impassable is I could make it a little bit here or there, but then, I'm just wondering, am I going to get stuck again? And one of the workers here told me it took him 6 hours to get to work today because he was stuck in a snowbank for 4 hours before somebody came by and was able to hook his vehicle up with chains and pull him out. So that's what you're dealing with. I mean, these are people who drive heavy equipment for a living who are, also experiencing some of this stuff as we've seen with the plows. So, it'll be interesting to see what the governor says and DOT says, even if they can have a timeline at this point about, whether or not, they can get ramps. That's the thing I'm kind of curious about is when can they get the ramps potentially passable? But yeah, not to be critical. I mean, this is crazy. This is, again, the worst I've ever seen. And you can drive down a road and maybe that's clear, but then there's like a 2-foot pile of snow in the middle of a ramp or the next turn that you do not want to get stuck in, because once you go in and it gets stuck under your car, you got some problems. So, I'm just hanging out here and wondering kind of where I'm going to go next. These folks have to go home at some point. And so, is it, do you try to, do I try to get on the highway? Do I try to take some back roads? But the bottom line is, if you don't absolutely have to go outside, you shouldn't. I mean, the roads, we all, again, hear these warnings sometimes, like, don't go out. I mean, this is like nothing I have seen.
And Brian, in the old saying, you never know where life's going to take you. Obviously, when you started your day out this morning, you didn't think you'd be having a nice cup of coffee and a muffin over at the landfill.
Absolutely not. And I was going to say that. I listen. I didn't think I was going to get stuck because when I started, the street near my house actually wasn't too bad, and I was like, all right, this isn't great. But then once I got to the highway, and this was around 9:15, 9:20 this morning, I realized we were in for something different. And as you said, you never know where. I did not have the landfill on my day's bingo card as to where I could end up. But it's just, again, the fine folks here. One of the guys came by and saw me and said, hey, you're welcome to come by. Their boss was emailing me saying, hey, come on in. We got muffins and snacks and coffee in a restroom, so you're welcome to come in. So again, thank you to them for offering me a spot. Again, I wasn't stuck in the snow. It was just the overpass. It was cleared, and I was like, well, I don't want to get stuck anywhere, so I won't go this way and I won't go that way. So, yeah, it's just been an interesting experience, and again, just wondering where the next few hours will take me.
I can't wait to see. I know we all can't wait to watch. Brian, maybe this is like wishful thinking on my part, but has the wind...
It may not be very far.
No. Has the wind died down behind you? Because your hair looks like pretty stable right now at the moment.
Yeah. But well, frankly, I was kind of covered because, while they let me use the kitchen, they said if you leave, the door's going to lock behind you. You want to leave the door. But yes, the wind has died down because I'm looking at these trees, kind of wispy-looking trees over here. And just 45 minutes ago, they were still swaying pretty good, and they're still moving, but not like they were before. So, hopefully that impact of this storm is lessening, but it's been a while, and again, the visibility on the roadways was just was ridiculous. I've never seen it like that either, where I could not see 5 feet in front of me at certain points and did not then want to veer just inches to my left or right into feet of snow, and I would be stuck. And I think you guys said it too. You saw people who were stuck on the side of the road, and you feel bad that, unfortunately, if you stop to try to pull them out or try to shovel them out, you may just be stuck as well. And again, being on the side of a highway in a snowstorm is not a pleasant experience. Even if you are sitting in your car and you have the heat on, it is scary to wonder what's going to happen next if you are out there. And again, I saw people, I did stop and ask one person if they're all right, and they thought somebody was coming, but you don't know how long that's going to be. And it's just, you wonder how long you're going to be out there, especially as the snow is still falling and you are basically, have feet of snow around your car.
Right. And Brian Crandall, obviously one of the big challenges is the off ramps. That's why you've been kind of stuck, and we faced that too. And while it looks pretty calm where you are, Brian, as I look over at Fall River, it's still coming down really well. So for viewers at home, don't be mistaken. I should go on the record as saying that Brian Crandall has one of the best heads of hair.
I know.
In local news.
Of course it's holding
because
still.
If that was me out there, my hair would be flapping over.
Your hair looked crazy when we were driving around today.
Thank you. But anyways, Brian Crandall, we're glad that you're somewhere safe, and hopefully conditions clear up for you there.
We almost anchored from a snowbank on the side of 95,
That's right.
so this is better.
Yeah, or you could be at the landfill in Johnston. So just count your blessings, young lady.
I'm so curious to see if Brian Crandall has company, if he's gotten kicked out. I know he joins us live from Johnston at the landfill.
He's back in the overpass.
Brian, come on.
The Brian
I left the cozy confines of the very nice break room at the landfill, the Rhode Island Resource Recovery. They were very nice to let me go in there, have some snacks, use the restroom. So I have left there. I figured I'd get out. And I do want to show you this that Mark was saying, and I don't want you to be fooled because there has been quite a bit of progress. If I turn around, this is 295 South now coming through Johnston, which is down to the pavement. And so I've seen some vehicles come through. There's one coming now, and this is, again, quite a change from just a couple hours ago where you couldn't see anything. So obviously now there's a lot more visibility. It is still windy, but and again some snow flurries, but nothing like before where I couldn't see anything on the highway below me. Again, on this overpass, I'm at the landfill exit off 295, where I've been for most of the day, and this is one of the I don't know if they're supposed to be doing that, a tractor-trailer truck coming down the highway. I want to show you, because this has been one of the concerns, is, you know, my car wasn't stuck after I did get stuck on the ramp to get onto 295 around 9:30 this morning to come to work. This is, again, the landfill exit. They've done a good job. This is, my car was never stuck here, but the big question was, could I get on the highway? This is the ramp now to get on to 295 South in Johnston. So they just came through and cleared that. So that looks a lot better. You know, still a little pile of snow here. And this has been cleared most of the day because the plows keep circling around through here. But it is just amazing the amount of snow as I walk, you know, toward the ramp. Again, this is the on-ramp to 295. So they've cleared that. So I've got some hope now that I could leave this overpass or the area here. But just check out the amount of snow that we've got, basically, you know, up to the guardrail. I mean, it is just a wild scene. And again, nothing like I've seen or any of us have seen in the time we've been doing this, and most of us have been doing it quite a while. And as Mark said, a shout out to the people at home who are clearing out our homes. My wife Erin and my son Brendan, who used the snowblower for the first time today. So really appreciate that, so we don't have to do it when we get home, whenever that is. But again, it looks like an improvement of conditions. But again, don't want to be fooled. I don't know what you're going to find on the other end. Again, on some of those side streets, you heard the mayor of Johnston saying it could take days. Hopefully they get it at least passable by tonight. Dan, Emily?
All right, Brian Crandall braving the overpass and the landfill for us. So if you were on the roads like we were early to get here, obviously the off-ramps were a challenge. NBC 10's Brian Crandall actually stranded on a highway overpass for hours before taking shelter at the Rhode Island Resource Recovery, the central landfill.
Yeah, he kept us updated. Many of you reaching out to us, you were worried about his safety. Brian is now live, and you're back out in Johnston and back at that overpass, Brian.
Yeah, and the roads are looking a lot better. And yeah, thanks for everybody who reached out. Yeah, I was never really stuck, and actually good timing here. There's been a number of plows that have come by here the past few minutes, clearing both this overpass as they come off 295 South right here, which actually, again, if you look at that, it's basically down to the bare pavement. But again, we've been saying, you know, don't take that too far because you don't know what the side streets are like. And again, the plow trucks have come through here, and they've also cleared the ramps to get to the highway, which is a big improvement. And the thing I was worried about and why I was on this overpass, because I was able to get up on the overpass, but then the ramps were all blocked, so I was a little worried about getting off. And then this is just a look at one of the snowbanks here on the side of the road. That is easily up to my knees. But again, the conditions have improved. The snow has stopped. Well, there's still some flurries. It's still a little bit windy. I'd still advise against being off the roads. I might try to venture out and see how they're looking in a little bit. Back to you.
But it looks like at least some of the exit ramps and entrance ramps are cleared, at least where you are, but not across the state.
Yeah, and again, that is the improvement here from just a short time ago, is that they cleared the ramp, and that was one of the things. It was a white knuckle drive on the highway on 295 today. I had to shovel myself out twice on a ramp getting onto the highway. But then once I got on, I could see that all the other ramps were full of snow. I didn't know where I was going to go, and so this one was open. It had been plowed, and that's where I parked myself for the day.
All right,
Okay.
guy, we're glad you're safe. I joked earlier they're going to name that the Brian Crandall Memorial Overpass, right?
They should.
NBC 10's Brian Crandall stranded on a highway overpass for hours before taking shelter at the Rhode Island Resource Recovery or the Central Landfill. I think he had a cup of coffee.
Yeah, he kept us updated. Many of you reaching out, worried about his safety. Well, Brian is live now in Johnston along Atwood Avenue. So you've moved, Brian.
Patrice, Dan, I've been liberated from the overpass. They cleared the ramp there. 295 was in relatively good shape, and so I made it here to Atwood Avenue. I'm now in civilization under the glow of a Kentucky Fried Chicken. This parking lot, you can see the snowbank behind me because they've plowed it. It's well over my head. I mean, I'm not that tall, but it is over my head. I want to show you Atwood Avenue out here. You know, it's covered with snow, but we've seen plenty of vehicles going past. Again, there is a travel ban. We've seen some vehicles, I'm guessing, who are not supposed to be on the roads, but a steady stream of plows and heavy equipment as well. You can see those signs across the street blowing in the wind. It is still gusty. There's still some snow falling at this hour, but as you've been talking about, it seems like, you know, a market improvement, although it's still the obvious recommendation and the rule is to stay home. But after a long day where I had to shovel out my car twice off a highway ramp and wasn't among those statistics of people's police help, but I did have to get out of my car and shovel out. It has been a long day, but we are seeing improvement in what's going to be a long effort.
Well, we have been covering the historic blizzard of 2026 all day live here since early this morning.
Our crews spread out across the area, including NBC 10's Brian Crandall, and there was a lot of buzz around his live reports.
Brian Crandall is the king of the overpass.
Poor Brian.
He is now in his car, but Brian faced the problems that we all face is that you can drive on some of the main roads. It is not good, but it's tough to get off the off-ramp. So, Brian, are you still on the overpass in Johnston?
Oh, I haven't moved in 4 hours.
That was around 3 p.m. and we were concerned in the studio here.
Yeah, and you were concerned as well. Just to give you an idea of some of the emails we got, get Brian Crandall off the overpass now. And can you guys just go get Brian? He's stuck. And go rescue him and then name the bridge after him. Well, we are happy to report that NBC 10's Brian Crandall got off that overpass. He was never stuck. He was just playing it safe. And he's back live in Johnston with us again.
And
Good
he's
to see
still
a smiling
smiling.
face. I know.
Yeah, I'm smiling. I am not on the overpass. I got off there about 6:30, and if you were watching earlier, the fine folks at the Landfill, Rhode Island Resource Recovery, actually let me hang out there for a little while because it was right down the road. But, you know, I experienced what other people tried to get on the road this morning. I was trying to go to work, experienced. I got stuck trying to get onto 295, got stuck twice on the ramp trying to get on. Was fortunate enough to dig myself out, kind of had that, you know, treacherous ride down 295 and then followed the plow tracks to get off where I could at that exit and just didn't want to get stuck on the ramps because the ramps weren't plowed. But again, around 5:30, 6 o'clock, a lot had changed, especially where I was there. And this is a look after I left there. This is Hartford Ave at Atwood in Johnston, right near Town Hall. And you know, the main roads here, from what I've seen for the past few hours, are down to that, you know, covering of white, but you can get through. Some of the side streets I saw, of course, not quite as good, but passable. As you can see here, you know, a couple feet of snow on the side of the road. And you know, we looked at the highways. So my reports at 6 o'clock, and what you were just showing is you can see the blacktop in some spots. So I'm curious to see at this hour what the ride home is going to be like, and hopefully it's not as adventurous as it was earlier today. Dan and Patrice.
Brian, I see that gas station behind you. Are some of the businesses open there?
Yeah, well, this convenience store and gas station is open right next to me, and their parking lot has been plowed. I haven't seen a lot of other businesses open, and again, when it comes to businesses, I've seen some where their parking lots are completely cleared and looking good, and then others like the one across the street where you're not getting in. So I had not seen a lot of businesses that are actually open other than this one, the convenience store.
All right,
Dan,
Brian.
Patrice?
All right, Brian Crandall, we're going to put a note into the governor to see if we can get that bridge named after you, that overpass. But we're glad to see you doing well and smiling. So appreciate your coverage today.